Either way.
Okay. Why are we not? Why are we not started yet? Oh, it says we're live. Are we live? Are we live, Marshall?
You're live.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Well, Greg.
perfect. I love it.
All right, Greg, go ahead.
Wait, hold on. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hello, hello. Good morning, everybody in the chat. Welcome in. Brian, welcome. Hey,
Thank
hey.
you. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. Yeah, this is sorry about that, guys. We didn't realize we were live there, so I was expecting the our song and all. So it's all good. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and Greg, thanks for moderating as well.
Indeed. Hey, you know what, Brian? I like your shirt, and I like it a lot. And I really am. I'm a fan of Percy. I'm a Percy fan. So you know what? We've got a question for the chat for everybody here that we want to throw in, and we're going to look for one of the best responses. And we're actually going to be giving away some of those awesome T-shirts to the best responses for the question of the session. The question that we're going to have here is going to be, who is your favorite scientist, inventor, real or fictional, will count? Brian, I'm going to ask you that question. Who's your favorite scientist,
Mine
inventor,
is
real?
Dexter from Dexter's Lab, but if I want to go real, you got to tip the hat the old Einstein, right? So
What's the famous line? Abdu fromage. That's one of my favorites.
Exactly.
I'll go. Oh, geez. Frankenstein.
Oh, okay. You're going
Yeah, why
classic
not?
also. All right, sounds good.
I'll kick it old school. Well, Brian, why don't you go ahead and introduce your session a little bit, and then we'll get the ball rolling. I'm very excited
Sounds
learning
good.
about the
All right, thank you
Terminator
so much. Yeah,
technology.
thank you. Also, Greg. Let me go ahead and go and share my screen real quick. I'm showing on there we go. Perfect. All right, welcome to this afternoon session or our morning session for many people as well. My name is Brian Knight. Before we begin, if you're like me, you've been in IT for quite some time in many cases. And some of you in the audience might remember a time before IT where we had offices that looked like this, kind of that madman kind of approach. Well, in this case, no computer. The thing that's missing on this desk, of course, is that computer. And remember the revolution that we had, that once we went from a desk that looked like this to a desk that looked like this, where I'm no longer having to pass email or pass written memos back and forth. We had those things called emails. And what a revolution that was. We saw a huge increase in productivity. We saw a huge increase in just just our jobs in general. Then in the 90s, 2000s, we started getting these little phones like this, and we started having the internet, and it really revolutionized things. What we're going to talk about today is that third revolution, which I think is just as powerful as what we've seen in the past. Now, this picture you might recognize. This is the Tesla unveiling of the first robot, and we're going to talk artificial intelligence. Now, this, as you know in this picture here, that is not actually a robot. That's a dude dressed like a robot. So just like this picture here, artificial intelligence today is still going to need a lot of human touch. It's still going to need you to kind of oversee that process. So today we're going to talk about how I'm using artificial intelligence and Copilot in my case to increase my own personal productivity. I'm going to show you some of the things I've done and my brother has done around that also. We're also going to, by the way, my name is Brian Knight. My email address is on the chat window. My Twitter is @BrianKnight. I'm a Power Apps MVP, been working on Power Apps for quite some time, and I've been an MVP for about 20 years now also. I'm the founder of Pragmatic Works. We focus on training as you're in right here today. And I've also authored about 18 books. You can find those books outside the abandoned Blockbuster video on weekends, and I sell them next to the guy who sells the pit bulls. That joke only works in Florida, unfortunately, but if you have that style, you probably know what I mean also. And I blog at pragmaticworks.com, and you can find us on YouTube like you're finding us right now, or on Facebook or the other social media platforms also. So let's begin. Again, today we're going to show you really two flavors of Copilot. And we're going to show you the flavor of Copilot that's free. It's included in your license of just a Microsoft account. And we're going to show you the Office 365 flavor and how they're different. Most of our session, though, is going to be focused on AI prompts and how you can use these AI prompts with the free flavor. And then we'll show you just a little bit of pieces around like the do's and don'ts and when should you use this type of stuff and when should you not. So the number one burning question we get asked is, how much, Brian? Well, you may have noticed over the past few months, if you happen to go to Bing or happen to open up Windows 11, you may have noticed new things around there. This little Copilot icon around there. Well, the how much part is most of what we're going to cover today is free. It's included in your just Windows PC or just browsing the web. You can use this through things like Bing or use it through Windows 11 or whatever you wish. That gives you the foundational kind of capability. Microsoft partnered with and acquired about half of GPT's parent company, OpenAI, about a year and a half, 2 years ago now at this point. So a lot of that integration has been brought into the product, and you're going to find that all over the place. So what you're seeing in the free version is largely what you would find at chatgpt.com with a few major exceptions. The first major exception is it has commercial data grounding. So in other words, commercial data protection, In other words, this means that your data, that once you're signed in, will not be used to train your competitors. So your personal data, your company's data is not going to be sent and stored outside of your tenant. It also is grounded to the web, meaning it has it will search the web for you and have up to the minute real-time data when you search this. So unlike the first original ChatGPT, this is looking at very, very recent data as part of this. Now, if you're feeling a little frisky and you want to include this inside of the Office suite, then you could pay the $20 fee. This is going to give you two things. It basically gives you the $20 version of ChatGPT, like the priority model access, where you're going to be much faster model, and it is going to be integrated into things like your Outlook, into Word, and Office, and I'll be using this throughout this presentation also. Now, the last big boy version of this is the Copilot from Microsoft 365. The biggest difference here is it has access to the Graph API. Now, what does that mean, Brian? Well, this gives you access to things like your email, your Word docs, your Excel spreadsheets. So you can say, hey, what was my last meeting about? And do a / and actually point to the meeting that you want to refer to. Or I'm about to go my one-on-one meeting with my terrible brother, Devin Knight. How would I go and what kind of action items did we have in our last meeting? So those are the kind of things that basically integrate very easily there for you, okay? So where can I find all this? Well, today you can go to copilot.microsoft.com. It doesn't require, but it's recommended that you sign in. And when you sign in, it is going to protect that data for you. You'll get a little bar that looks a lot like you're seeing the little green bar right there. That basically makes it where it tells you your data is not being used for training other models at that point. You'll also find it in the Edge browser as well. So right there, you'll see this new icon. The icon's a little out of date there, but you get the idea. It has an icon right there. And you're going to find it from Windows 11. You have a new start menu at the bottom for that. And you're going to find it in places like Teams and Outlook and all the different tools like that. In addition, you can download Copilot on your Android or your iPhone device and do almost everything you do elsewhere here as well. It is going to be using the latest version of the ChatGPT product, so you're going to get the voice, all the really cool features they just announced about a month ago also. So all that stuff gets baked in there as well. Now, in addition, they have gone all in with Copilot. So if you are a developer, you're going to find this inside of GitHub. If you are a Power Apps person, you're going to find it inside of Power Apps and Power BI and all the different products around the scope. So wherever you're at, you will find a Copilot to assist you. My favorite piece is around from a dev side is the GitHub integration, where I can ask when I'm doing a Power App, a Power Page or whatnot, I can ask it a question like, build some JavaScript to do X, to validate this field and put it into this page. It will then take that, build the JavaScript, and put it right in my Power Page. I'm terrible at JavaScript, y'all. And this made it where it was so much easier to do that. I was then able to learn from that and then next time actually build it much better. So this stuff is just amazing when it comes to that. Now, I mentioned the security pieces already. Your data, unlike other models, is not going to be used to train the model as a whole. So that as long as you see that protected button, your stuff is all inside of your own tenant. So that's one of the most important pieces. Now, one of the things I've noticed though, as I'm doing these demos, is sometimes I'll do a forward slash and say, hey, look at my emails, and I'll say, do a forward slash. I didn't know I had access to some of the files that I had access to. So from a security side, it's not going to open you up anymore, but it is going to give you an extra surface that you may not have known that you had access to some of the stuff, or others have access to some of your items. So it's going to expose issues that you may have already had. So be careful of that. Be wary of, hey, I didn't know I had access to this Word document that has all this sensitive information inside of it. So just things like that might be an issue sometimes. So one of the things about any AI system is it is going to be very human-like, but it is non-deterministic. And this is one of the most important pieces to keep in mind as you're looking at this. Non-deterministic means you might pause this video and try one of my examples. Then I will do the same example and get completely different answers. This is a nightmare as a trainer, right? So as a trainer, I hope when we all hit the go button, we all see the same stuff. But unfortunately, because it's non-deterministic, it is going to have extra whims in it, and our results may vary. It is going to be very personalized also, so it might take pieces of my previous prompts and bring that into here as well. And one thing to note, Copilot is constantly being improved. This is only a year old, right? So we're going to see constant weekly improvements in this product. Now, there's a lot of ways of building bad prompts, but one of the big things to keep in mind when you're building your prompts is specificity. Ooh, that's a hard word for a child like myself here. So I kind of broke down what a good prompt might look like here. First thing is, you want to really specify and narrow down your goal. Give me X amount of bullets. Give me X amount of words. Build 5 paragraphs about this. Then you build your context about what you want to see it on. One of the things you can also do is level set your expectations and say, hey, use this in a whimsical way, or keep this as professional, or use a simple language geared at a 4th grader or a high schooler. So really gearing that all also. And then you also want to declare your sources. Only use these kind of sources for the Microsoft 365 pieces, or look in my emails, look in my Teams messages, but be very specific about where to get the data from. As you do that, you'll be surprised what you can get access to. And you can iterate in that as well and build better and better examples. So a few things in addition to that is you also can specify the role. So if you're a marketing person, you can go out there and say, I'm trying to appeal to construction contractors. Build a blog post about X, Y, and Z that appeals to this role. You can also use this from an interviewer side or an interviewee side, where you say, pretend to be an interviewer and ask me 20 questions about X, Y, and Z. So the role assignments is really, really important when it comes to Copilot. And you want to make sure you give it a lot of context. Grammar can matter here. It's going to correct some basic grammar, but if you're a pretty bad speller like myself, sometimes it gets a little squirrely and it can't figure out how to do that. So be as precise as possible. Now, how I use this for is, going into meetings in many cases, I'll ask, hey, what is my next 10 action items from this last meeting? I'll use it for content creation. Build a slide about X, Y, and Z. And we'll show some examples like that. I'll use it for learning and development. Hey, summarize this book, or to see if it's worth reading the book also. Use it for brainstorming. We have a product called X, Y, and Z. What are 5 ideas to build this? Or what are some ideas to build ideas? Those types of things. One of the most unusual things you can do with this is you can actually ask it to build prompts about your prompts. So in other words, what are 5 questions I should ask ChatGPT for a brainstorming session about X, Y, and Z? So it will kind of build those prompts for you. So here's an example of one that we did recently. This was actually a sales example. I just want to kind of walk through a day in the life of the salesperson. He's trying to go out there and he wants to get more deals, right? And he lives in the Detroit area. It's a major construction company. So he goes out there and asks the question, hey, what are the top four largest RFPs? Again, get the top four. So he's got specified how many he wants in this area, and give me their proposal due dates also. When I searched for that, I got an example like you're seeing right here. So it went ahead and scoured the web with current data. I did a search in April, and it got me all these projects that I can bid on now. Actionable intelligence. That's what I mean by the revolution here, right? It's pretty amazing, with links and annotations to point to those. Once I had that, one of those files was for this University of Michigan project. I went over to the Copilot within Edge, and when I did that, I said, "Hey, we're building a weekly meeting about this project, and go ahead and this time to this time, and encourage this project sales team to come together weekly." It then built a description like this, which we pasted into Outlook, and we're ready to rock and roll. You'll notice up top right here, that protected icon. That's the one to watch for to make sure that all the stuff I'm training on right now is not going to be used for other competitors in this case. So with that now done, let's go ahead and build some examples together. Now, of course, this is recorded, so feel free to pause me at any time and work with this. I'm going to be copying and pasting a lot because I don't want you guys to have to wait for me to do this stuff also. All right, so let's go ahead and hop out here, and I'm going to start by going to copilot.microsoft.com. A few things to note about this. Let me go ahead and open up another tab here also. So I have two tabs open here. Oh, I had two tabs open. Let me find my other tab. Okay. There we go. Let me just go ahead and bring this over real quick. There we go. I'll just bring this over, and I'm going to connect with my browser here. There we go. And I'm going to go to copilot.microsoft.com. First thing you'll notice, there is my icon that you see up top. You can log into this with your work account, or in my other browser, you'll see my personal account. So right here. So we can log in either way, but as you log in, if I log in my personal account, you're going to get different features based on that. So in this one, you'll notice I have more personal items like vacation planners and designers and cooking assistants and those kind of things. You also get access to things like plugins, which we'll show a little bit later here as well. On the professional side, though, we'll get access to either our work or web. As we flip between these, we can ask different types of questions. The work one, we can ask questions about our emails, about certain Word docs. I can do a / in here and point to files, our people, our meetings, or whatever I wish. If I go over to the web side, we'll see access to more of the classic stuff. This is the free stuff that we're seeing right here. All you have to do is sign in. And this was my work stuff where I have access to all those areas. Now, it did sign me out for some reason again, so go ahead and sign back in with my work account. Not sure why it signed me out there, but let's go ahead and try going in. Oh, there we go. Okay, so what we're going to do next is you'll see down below there's also a few modes we can do. We can start in creative mode, and we can have, that's more the free-flowing kind of thought process. And then precise mode is where it backs it up with research, and it's more precise, less creative. You can also do the middle ground here and kind of take elements of both. Up top, you'll see this notebook feature. This notebook feature allows you to pass in more characters, up to 15,000 characters at the time of this recording at least, and allow you to iterate a little bit faster and kind of build more pieces. So you can upload a Word doc there, or upload the text from Word doc, or upload the text of something else, and then ask it questions about that instead. So in my case, let's ask something a little bit easy. Let's imagine, for example, I want to build a blog post about CertXP. Let me do, first of all, what we've learned before. I'm going to start with a bad blog post, and then I'm going to get very specific on my next one. Let me find my piece here. Bear with me for 1 second. There we go. I've got it. I'm going to copy and paste this so you don't have to see me write in a whole bunch of text. But let's start with the creative mode, and I'll just say, hey, write a blog post about CertXP. All right. This is what you don't want to do. It's going to build basically a marketing brochure that nobody wants to read. So it's not specific. It's not linked in any way. So it could be it's great from a marketing side, but maybe not great from a blog side. So instead of that, what I want you to do, I'm going to hit stop responding here. And I'm going to go ahead and paste this in. Now, one thing you'll notice here, it actually does give footnotes down below about how this is better, where it got the information at. But now I'm going to get very specific here. And I'll put in like, write a 1,000 page blog post about this, cite this information on this page, make this this blog appear on a marketing site to track customers of a certain piece and all that. So when I hit go this time, I'm gonna get a very different blog post, one that's more friendly to a blog post. It's very specific. It has certain sections that I wanted here as well. And it will allow me to kind of build that out much, much faster. Now you can see we're kind of iterating, right? So one of the nice things we can do is as it does this, I could say, yeah, let's go ahead and add something to this blog post. So for example, I have my conclusion ready to go. It sounds beautiful, but I can say I want some stats on this also. So go ahead and add some statistics and cite those statistics and add an extra section around that. So when I go ahead and hit go this time, it's going to build a net new section for me with this. And there we go, it's my stats. It will go ahead and cite those. We'll see the number 1 right here and all the hyperlinks right here. Everything's cited for me accordingly here. And I have my cited work down below also. The labor statistics site. I have a few other sites like this about how certs can help you. So now I can copy and paste that in and I'm ready to rock and roll. But notice my prompt in here. I said add to the blog post. So it knew which blog post to add it to. So the term like this and what do you mean by that is really, it's awesome. It actually works this. I can also go through and say, you know what? I want this to appeal to somebody different now. I want this to appeal more to high scorers. So go ahead and rewrite this into a tone that will appeal to high scorers. When I do this, check out what it makes here. Think about what your high score that you might have at home would care about. Well, the first thing they care about is emojis, right? That's a cheap answer, at least. So we'll see that it's actually making it way more whimsical. It has things in a mythical land of Cert XP. So it may be corny, magical, and all those kind of things, but it actually is a little bit more playful than what I'm hoping for in this case. So again, all of this we're seeing right now is with the free version of Copilot. As you can see, I'm using the web as my source right now, and I'm staying that way to make it where it's super easy to kind of knock this out. So this is one of the ways we can easily make this there for you. All right. So we're seeing, like in this case, in my experience, it's a question from Michael here. A lot of larger organizations have banned both ChatGPT and Copilot as they're worried about data security. I'm seeing that mindset, Michael, not from a ChatGPT side, but definitely from a Copilot side. As the message about that green banner you're seeing right here go out, they are locking all that data down so where it cannot be used and leaked outside the organization. So that's been largely reconciled, we think. At least I'm seeing a lot of organizations that were first holding this back, now embracing it. Now, when there's some of their new announcements they did around the Copilot PC, a lot of organizations got a little nervous about the screenshots and all that, but they pulled that feature and they're going to go ahead and re-engineer that feature a different way. So a lot of this stuff can be done locally. So let's do another way of doing this now. Great question there, Michael. I appreciate that one. I'm going to undo that one. All right, cool. Now let's go out to a blog post about the latest features in Power BI. So, excuse me. So in this case, we have this blog post and we do a monthly meeting where we get all of our developers together, all of our trainers together, and we talk about the latest version of Power BI, hypothetically here. How can I go out there and build this much easier based on the content that you're seeing right here? Okay, so to do that, one of the ways I can hit this little Copilot button inside of Edge. Okay, notice I am using the web right now. We can choose to be more precise. I'll stay creative in my case, and I'll ask the question, hey, just summarize this blog post. All right. Now, we can also, as it does this, I want to run this meeting, and we can see all the features right here and kind of all the goodies right there. But what I can do, I got nice 3 bullets right there around that, but I can also go and say, hey, I've got a weekly lunch meeting here, and I want to build an invite out that lunch meeting. Give me what the invite might look like. And it was building that all out. There we go. See how fast that came? So this becomes my Outlook calendar invite now. In addition, by the way, we can get really specific and ask for things like, hey, draft a PowerPoint with 5 slides. So I can go here and say, draft this content into a PowerPoint with 5 slides. with bullets on each slide. Now, in this case, because I'm in the web flavor right now, it's not actually going to build this PowerPoint, but it's going to give me all the content I need to make this PowerPoint work. That's what we're seeing right now. So we have our slides, we have all that. Now, if I actually had PowerPoint open, it would actually build this for me and actually build the exact slides of what I wanted. But again, I'm staying in the free version right now. I don't want to spend the $30 in this case. So this is going to make it all work for me. Everything's got works cited down here, all ready to go. So that's pretty darn cool. I love that feature, but let's get even gnarlier here. I'm going to go over this blog, right here. Now watch what we're going to do here. Okay, so let me go ahead and get past oh, there you go, mute that. And I'm going to go ahead and mute that and just play this in the background. Now, what I'm going to show you here is, you may have seen these. I've got a little known fact about me. I've got and I have a big case of ADD, right? I'm all over the place. People that work with me can definitely tell you that I am all over the place. So in some cases, I get, having to watch a 10-minute video or 30-minute video is excruciating for me. So I want to get my information as fast as possible and get out. Well, one of the things I'm going to show you now, I'm going to go ahead and hit new topic down below. So that way, when I say the word this and that, it knows to go ahead and start from scratch. And I'm done with the last piece. And all I care about now is this video that I'm watching right now. One of the things I can do down here is I can say, hey, summarize this video. It's going to read the transcripts, and the ones you can tell that it works on, the ones that say closed captioning down below. You go read the transcripts, give me a site, give me the exact minute where my thing I care about is. I can even click on that and jump to that moment in time where that was done. Isn't that incredible? That's so awesome. I think it's amazing. Now, one of the neat things we can do also, though, is as I'm watching this video, my ADD kind of kicked in here, and I was confused by where did Brian, in this case, me, find this one screenshot here. He didn't really mention that. So how do I find where Brian is at right now? Let me go and kind of maximize this a little bit here. And what we're going to see here, as I kind of let that screenshot crispen up a little bit and buffer, there we go. Let me rewind that just a few seconds here. All right, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and introduce an option here to say, take a screenshot of where Brian's at right now. I can either upload an image, or in my case, I can hit this add a new screenshot right here. When I click on that, there we go. I'll just go ahead and just take a screenshot of this right here. All right. I'm going to paste that in. And I'll hit the little checkbox to paste it in. I can also annotate it and all that. And now I can ask a question like, how do I navigate to this screen in the screenshot based on this video? There we go. So it's going to look for the transcripts of the video to the point where I'm doing that. And then it's going to, if it can't find the answer because I'm using web, it will go out there on the web and find that answer. So if a speaker did not mention it, it will actually go on the web and tell me how to get there also. So I did actually mention in this case, that's why it was fast. But if I did not do it, it will actually go out there and find the answer for me. That to me is bonkers cool. So we can go through and ask other types of questions also. So we can ask like, based on this video, how do I do this? Or based on this video, how do I integrate this into my own product, my own model-driven applications perhaps? So it will take the information from the video and also broaden it out to the web and look at other sources. And you can see those sources right here if it had any other sources other than the video. So to me, this is amazing, right? It gets really, really good. And let's go into a different kind of use case here. I'm going to go back to the Copilot again. And I'm going to kind of kill this right here on the side. And we'll just kind of ask it a few more questions here. I'm going to go and I want to get really specific, and we'll kind of talk about what's good and what's bad about this prompt. All right, so in this case, I'm going to ask it to build a job description. I hate writing job descriptions. It's my nightmare. It's the worst thing I have to do sometimes because you have to build super lengthy. You have to apply all these HR rules to it, and so on and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend like I'm Habitat for Humanity. It's a well-known company out there. They build, for those that are not in the U.S., they build homes for the needy. It's a really awesome nonprofit organization. So I'm going to hire a fictitious person here. This is all fictitious here. And I am saying this person's going to make $60,000 to $90,000. It's a mid-level Power BI developer. And I care a lot about experience in the nonprofit sector. So when I hit go, Again, the pieces I missed there, was college education important? I would want to make sure I add that in there. And if I do that, I get closer to a one question prompt versus a multi-question prompt. So there we go. It's building all the stuff that I really, really hate. It is going to base this on a number of things that are already out there. And then I can go out there and ask it additional questions. So now that I've had this job description, I can then download that job description right here, look at all the prompts for where it may have pulled some of the pieces of that from. And then I can ask additional questions like, what are 5 questions? So there we go. Let me ask a different way there. What are 5 questions I should do in this interview? So when I hit go, it's going to give me five questions that an interviewer here should do. Here we go. We can ask about X, Y, and Z, about the DAX function or whatever, some visualization experience. And then I can even say, you know what, I don't know how to interview a Power BI person. What is the answer to number 2? There we go. So it will know what number 2 is, and then give me what I should be listening for in that interview. So this, to me, now you can do the opposite as well. You can pretend like you're the interviewee. Hey, I'm about to interview for a senior Power Apps developer. What are 20 questions that an interviewer might ask of me? And then kind of build that. I'm going to answer that this way. Is that right? Is it wrong? So this is all really cool stuff. Now, one of the things that you're not seeing here is it also can read it out loud from an accessibility side. You can also prompt it with your voice.
Certainly.
Your phone.
If I were a mid-level Power BI
all right. We can also ask with our voice down below using microphone. So you can literally just ask it a question, have it come back. This also works for things like for your phone device as well. It's really, really awesome on the phone to be able to ask those kind of questions. All right, let's go back to our slides for one more time. All right, there we go. Let me go back there. Oh, lose my mouse here. There it is. Sweet. Okay, so what you saw there was the free version of ChatGPT, now Copilot from Microsoft, right? So it's kind of the same kind of engine running inside of a Microsoft data center, protecting your data, and that everything you saw there was included with, it's just free. All you gotta do is sign up with a personal account or a Microsoft account of your choice, or a business account. Now, there's also the version that's $30, which this, to me, we started the pilot, and all of our trainers that we enabled this on saw huge improvements in productivity for building out curriculum, for answering emails, for doing lots of things like this. It is bonkers, crazy good. And that's what we're going to show next. So there's Copilot flavors inside of each version of the Office suite. We can go through inside of Word docs and create Word docs right inside of Office that are based on other PowerPoint documents, perhaps. We can rewrite sections to be better. So if you're an impatient writer, or you want to reword something, or you think you're almost there, you can reword something right here. You can add it to make it look prettier, and so on and so on. Inside of Excel, you can ask it to summarize your data or find anomalies in your data very, very quickly. Inside of PowerPoint, build me a slide about X, Y, and Z, and it will build that slide for you. You can also ask it to summarize a lengthy Word doc into a PowerPoint, or organize your PowerPoints to where it builds sections for you. So those pieces all right there for you. This can take some time as it builds these PowerPoints out for you. Inside of Outlook, I love this one. I get a lot of emails. I get hundreds a day of emails. And one of the questions you can ask is just summarize this email into 5 bullets. You know, if you're on the CC line, you get this longer and longer email, just summarize it for me, and that will make it much, much easier. You can also have it draft the emails for you, or you can also go through and just say something like, hey, I've written this email. Can you coach me on what I did right and wrong? There's actually a quick coach button inside there that will compose a better email. And it can summarize all the unread emails into one piece for you. Now, my favorite part is in Teams, because we all love our meetings, right? But when you go to those meetings, one of the things you can do is you can say, hey, I missed this meeting, summarize all the action items that were mentioned, summarize anytime my name was mentioned. We can go through and generate some ideas from a meeting. I'm going to show you an example of that in a moment. This is amazing, this Teams piece integration. And then not lastly, but OneNote. Every Microsoft product has this integrated, but OneNote has it where you can say, I'm doing a party. Give me my my action items from this party. What's my to-do list look like in this case? Build pros and cons about X based on this meeting, for example. It can do that. And lastly, I used this just the other day, was the whiteboard feature. The whiteboard feature can say, you can ask it to generate 10 ideas about X, Y, and Z, about a trip you're going to plan, or retreat you're planning, or about a customer engagement, or whatever. It will then generate those ideas, and then you then go through and suggest new ideas based on that, or expand an existing idea that you had as humans. You can hit the expand button. It will then expand that out and give you 10 more ideas based on those ideas. So all sorts of cool stuff you can do. So I'm going to skip our slides here and just kind of walk through an example here together. And then we're going to end with one more fun example here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and open up that browser I had open just a moment ago. There we go. I think that's it. That is not it. Let me go ahead and minimize that and find my other browser. I think that is it. Nope. All right. Sorry. All right. I know it's here somewhere. Got so many tabs open right now. I think this might be not the winner. All right. No problem. Okay. Oh, there it is. I found it. All right, cool. All right, so this is the tab we had open earlier. Now, one of the things I can do is I can go hit this into work mode here and start to look deeper at the work mode and what kind of stuff is out there. Let me go ahead and minimize my slide so I can see you guys here and see the chat window. There we go. All right, so we have a question from Bridget already here. Great question. All right, let's go ahead and show that one. Let's kind of show this one real quickly. If you summarize in Teams, can the other members of the meeting see it as well? That's up to you, Bridget. So one of the things it can do is it will do it for you and give you the option to copy and paste. So we do this all the time with customers that don't have Copilot. In the recap, you can take that, copy and paste in the chat window, and you're off to the races. So yes and no. You can make that happen if you want. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and try one of those examples. Now, a few things to note here. I'm in Copilot now, but I'm in work mode now. You'll notice there's this view prompts button, which will give you some ideas. And you can actually go and save other ideas out there to help others as they're doing tasks in their system as well. So let me go back here again. So let's imagine, for example, I'm about to go into a meeting with somebody. So I can say, I don't want to do Devin here because he's so terrible. Let me go ahead and try to find somebody else here. All right, so let's imagine, for example, I summarize my last meeting with, and I can do / and it will give me a list of all the people that I might want to look at here. So if I were to look at, let me find somebody who have very easy stuff here. Let me try Apple here. All right. So when I click on Apple, it will go ahead and summarize this, and I could say also, and my Teams meeting, my Teams chats, something like that. Now we can also say / and this person, and this person. I'm about to go into a meeting though with Apple, and I just want to make sure that I know all my information before doing this. Now you can do this from within Teams, or you can do it right here at copilot.microsoft.com. Inside of Teams, let me go ahead and open up Teams real quick. You'll see on the left side, there'll be a Copilot option over here. There we go. You're seeing all of our stuff. There's Apple right there. And let me go ahead and find an innocuous one like myself here. And you'll see on the left side, there's a Copilot option right there as well. So if I go over here, we're seeing all of our party planning that we have coming in. Some of the CertXP stuff that we have, any kind of Teams chats we have, and so on and so on and so on. So it took all that to account and gives me one area to kind of go into to make that work. Now, let's imagine also, while I'm on Teams here with Bridget, what Bridget mentioned before, let's imagine, for example, there was a meeting where I missed where people were talking about a new innovative idea. Let me go ahead and find that meeting real quick. I'm going to go to my calendar here. You're going to hate my calendar here. Let me go ahead and go into February here when I was off for that month. All right, I think it's somewhere right around here. And at one point today, there was a meeting about an internet cafe. So I can go inside of here and start to go to my recap and start to ask questions right here in Copilot. We can see, who was talking and all those kind of things. But if I hit Copilot or hit Stream, either way, I can get a prompt like this that says, hey, just summarize this meeting. Whoa, there we go. Look what happened there. It's went ahead and summarized the meetings for me, kind of gave me a quick breakdown. Oh, let me actually hit more prompts here again, and hit the new button here. Oops, there we go. So one of the things I can do is I can say, well, all right, well, summarize this meeting. All right, I should have hit the button right here to hit new, but that's all right. So we'll just watch it together here again. So as we do that, it will read the transcripts of the meeting and bring them all into this one particular meeting. Now, it's other things it can do also. Let's go ahead and do some recaps. We can say, hey, what are the ideas that were discussed in this meeting? And what are the pros and cons of each idea? This can take some time sometimes, but it came back with that idea, and we'll talk through this while it's summarizing the pros and cons that were mentioned here. So we asked it now, hey, what were the ideas discussed in the meeting, and what were their pros and cons? You'll notice as we look at these, though, there's actually little numbers next to these. And these numbers will go and jump right to that point in the meeting where that point was made. So in this case, we're seeing Copilot go through and generate the ideas that came from the meeting and what pros and cons have come from each of those ideas also. There we go. And it's going to mention some pros and cons, and pros and cons were da-da-da-da. And I can now ask, all right, well, how did Devin feel about these ideas? So I can say, was Devin against this idea of the Internet Cafe, the Pragmatic Works Internet Cafe? Sounds like a great idea to me. So we can ask questions of it and have it do sentiment analysis to find out, well, where did Devin stand on this? We can also ask questions like who spoke most in this meeting to make sure everybody had a voice in this meeting also. So we can go through and refine, and make it better and better. And as you can see here, Devin was not completely against the idea of the Internet Cafe and ice cream bar and Java bar, but he had some concerns and challenges, and here's what his concerns and challenges were. Again, I can click on this right here, and it will jump right to the idea. I can see the transcript. What do you think about the small demographic? Boom, boom, boom. I can see his problems. He had the idea right here. So it feels like yada, yada. This is what he said in that meeting, and I can jump right to the 108 to find out where it was. All right. And of course, I can, do things like list all the action items that came out of the idea. What were the follow-ups they want to do? So this is the Teams meeting. Now, there are a lot of other things we can do inside of here. Like, for example, let's jump over to an Excel spreadsheet and just kind of see an Excel spreadsheet here. All right, I'm going to open up Excel. There we go. And bring it over here. All right. And I had an Excel doc earlier I made. Let me find that real quick. I'm logged in with a different user here, so we'll see how this works. All right, so as I hop out, let me actually go over to and just do it right from within within OneDrive here. So if I open up OneDrive, I can then ask it questions. Let me just go. I'm going to open up in a different panel here, so you don't see all my files. That's one of the things. As of right now, these files that you're referring to have to be on OneDrive as of right now. There are goals. One of the biggest asked items is I want to keep my stuff local. I don't want to have to involve OneDrive. So one of the things that's coming here very soon is the ability to not have OneDrive involved at all. So let me go out here to my presentation here. I'm going to go over to, there we go, AI, and I'll bring this slide over here real quick. All right, so I'm going to open up a quick quick safety data. Now I'm opening this up in OneDrive, but it can work wherever I'm at also. So in this case, what I want to do is I'm looking at this raw data here of issues. And one of the things you want to ideally do, you don't have to do this right now, but ideally, you're going to want to go through and format that under the home ribbon here as a table. And as you do this, it will get smarter and smarter, and you can ask extra questions of Copilot inside there. So I'm not used to the web version of this anymore. So we can go through, and let me actually open up Excel in general here and just get it to do that. All right. Let me just do that instead. All right. I had the file open just a moment ago. It is in, there we go. Bear with me for 1 second here. I apologize. And I've got it under here, and there it is. All right, there we go. All right, so I was looking at that Copilot button right there. So first step I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and format that as a table. I'm not used to the web client, that's why I did this route instead. You don't have to do that, but it's going to be much faster if you do that. And and ask it, it will then go out there and start to get those key insights. So let's go ahead and turn on autosave. There we go. I'll put this just out there on OneDrive here. So as you can see, it won't. It's in OneDrive right now. This is the feature that I really stuff local sometimes also. Most of my stuff's on one. It sounds like I am not coming through. All right. It's probably the microphone, I bet. Hey guys, is it the batteries? Had some audio difficulties there. So if I want to go ahead and just ask it for the quick insights, I can hit show data insights. It will go out there and build those in quick data insights. Okay. Some analysis out of this data. That we're looking at right here. Hold my slide right have open all day. Let's go ahead and look at that PowerPoint that we had open. There we go. All right, so this is a PowerPoint document I've been using all day. There's my quick insights right here. And I can go ahead and say, I like this. Go ahead and add that insights out there. We can see that looks like our 25-year-olds are causing most of our incidences. And if I like that, I can say add a new sheet, and it will then create a new sheet around that. We get insights. So it has a lot more inside of Excel you can do. Fortunately, just with the time we have, that's just here as well. I'm going to open up my Office panel here. All right. Here we go. And I'm going to open up a new document here. And I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. All right, there we go, in blank document. All right, here we go. All right, so as I bring this Word doc over, you'll notice that inside of Copilot, which is, I'm logged in locally here. See, I'm logged in locally versus my Office 365. So let me go in my Office 365 version of the same thing here. Let me go into my area right here, and I'll just go to somewhere like this. You'll also notice Copilot up top here as well. But let me go over here and just go over to Word or PowerPoint. While I'm inside of here, I'll just do a blank document. And you're going to see you can either hit Alt-I, a little funny there, a little AI there, twist, or you can actually just say it to rewrite certain things or write a presentation about this or that or whatnot. So in a moment here, am I my blank Word doc? Not sure why Word is not there. It goes. You have a blank Word doc. There's my Word doc right there. You're going to see here that there's my Copilot integrator right here. So I can ask it to do things like build a class for learning Word for teenagers. And I can say a / based on this, for example. And it will then go out there and then base it on certain things. So when I hit generate, it will then build that class. I wasn't specific though. I didn't say how long the class should be or any of those kind of things like that. So there we go. It's going to start to build that class. I can also ask it to refine it, put timelines on each module, and do all those kind of things. It can even build like your exercises for you as well. So it does a really, really awesome job at doing those kind of getting you a starting point at least inside of Word. There's lots more it can do, of course, inside of here. Let's do one more fun prompt and we'll be done for our day here. So I'm going to go back over here again, and I'm going to go into my local one. This is my last one here. And the first thing I'm going to do, a lot of you guys have been asking how we've been generating this music here today. So I'm going to go over to plugins here, and you'll see this plugin here on your personal version of this called Suno. I'm going to toggle that on, and I'm going to build, some of you guys know I have a brother named Devin. He works here as well. He's coming up at the 1 o'clock hour to go deep into this on Power BI's front. So I'm going to build a 80s style rock and roll song about how I outperformed Devin, other than the audio problem we had there, where Devin later was vanquished after being so amazed by my presentation. He later cried himself to sleep on his huge pillow at night. When I do that, it's going to go out there to Suno and build that up. Now, I'm just to save time here. Excuse me. To save time here, I'll go ahead and download that out there. Here we go. It's going to generate that. It's building the verses right now. And then eventually it will go out to Suno to then build that music as well. Oh, there we go. Now we can hit the play button right now. Okay, that's still building it. Now for an effort of time though, let's just go out here and play you a nice song. All right, there we go. So it is a song, and you can see the lyrics on the side here about Devin crying himself to sleep and his mom being disappointed in him. So it's a really, really cool way of just kind of bringing a little more life to your meetings, and our event today, right? It's kind of a neat way of just kind of getting people interacted ahead of the meeting. So really, really neat stuff you can do. And you can refine it, of course, over and over again and make it better and better. But as you can see here, oh, there we go. I'll even have his short name here. All right, with that done. I know we're out of time. Hey, Greg, are you there? Let's go ahead and do our drawing. All right, our marketing team, you there? Here we go. All right, let me turn off my music here. And let's go ahead and raffle off a new license here. So I don't see Greg here, so I will go ahead and jump in. And marketing, are you there also? There we go. All right, our winner here is going to be, Mike. Hey, Mike, make sure you get a screenshot of your profile. Thank you so much for joining us today. In our next session, we have another session coming up, awesome session around the PL900, I believe. And then Devin's session on, if you're interested in Copilots, coming up at 1 o'clock also. The PL900 is very similar to what Angelica did on the 300, but showing you the ins and outs of how to pass this certification also. We'll see you in about 7 minutes. Have a great day.